harness this power, apply it to my Iron Legion protocol.
Okay, pull up the harness!
So what does a horse have in common with solar power? I know, it sounds like the start of a strange joke, right? But the answer is actually one single, super powerful word. A word that completely changes how we think about control and potential. And that word is harness.
Yeah, I'm serious. A horse and a field of solar panels. It seems like there's no way they could be connected, but they are. And the bridge between them is this one amazing word. So let's dive in and figure out how harness pulls it off.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to go way back to the source. And the source isn't some big abstract idea. Nope, it's an actual physical thing. Let's start with the original object itself. All right, so when we're talking about harness as a noun, a thing, it's pretty straightforward. You know, it's that set of straps and buckles you'd see on a horse. But here's the key. It's not just about the leather straps. The whole point, the magic of it, comes down to three little words: connect, control, and power. A harness is the tool we invented to let a person manage the incredible, raw strength of an animal. So if you break it down, this thing does three main jobs. It guides the animal, it controls its power, and it connects that power to a specific task, like pulling a cart or a plow. Guide, control, connect. You're going to want to hang on to those three ideas because they are the bedrock for everything this word is about to become. Okay, but this is where it gets really, really cool. The word doesn't just stay as a boring old object. It's about to make a jump from being a physical thing to becoming an action, something you can actually do. And this is a really important shift to understand. So harness, the noun, that's the straps, the object. But to harness, the verb, well, that's the action of putting those straps on and getting that animal's power to do something useful. It might seem like a small change in grammar, but trust me, it completely blows the doors open on what this word can mean. Just picture it, right? You take the straps, the harness, you put them on the horse, and right there, in that moment, you are literally harnessing its power. You're taking all that raw, untamed energy and giving it a job. You're giving it direction and a purpose.
And this, my friends, is where our little word makes its great escape. We're about to see how this super simple idea of controlling a horse jumped out of the barnyard and into the world of big, abstract concepts, from animals to ideas. See, this is the secret sauce. This is what lets the word grow. Because it doesn't matter if we're talking about a horse or something way, way bigger. The core idea is always the same. You take some kind of power, you get it under control, and you make it useful. So naturally, we humans took this concept and ran with it. We looked at something huge and wild, like a river, and we thought, wait a minute, how can we control that? And what did we do? We built dams, we built watermills. We weren't literally putting leather straps on the river, of course, but what we were doing was absolutely 100% harnessing its power to create electricity and get work done. And then we did the exact same thing with the wind. I mean, talk about a chaotic, invisible force, right? But by building windmills, and now these giant modern turbines, we figured out a way to guide and control that power. We connected it to the job of making energy. We harness the wind. And this right here brings us to the biggest leap of all. The word became so flexible, so powerful, that we started using it for things that aren't even physical, things you can't touch. Now, we can talk about harnessing things like creativity, or technology, or even our own potential. So what does all this mean for us right now? How do we actually use this word today? Let's take a look at how this concept works in the real world. Well, the modern meaning is actually pretty simple when you think about it. To harness something just means to get its potential under control and point it toward a goal. That's it. Think back to the horse and the straps. It's the exact same idea, but now we can use it for pretty much anything you can imagine. So, for example, when we say someone harness technology, they're not just, typing on a computer. They are strategically controlling its power to create a business. Or think about talent. When a musician harnessed his talent, he's taking that raw ability and focusing it to write a specific song. It's the same thing with data, with creativity. Every single time, it comes back to those two things: control and purpose. All right, so let's do a quick review of this whole journey, and then you'll be ready to go out and use this awesome word yourself. Look, if you only remember one thing from all of this, make it this right here. At its very core, to harness just means to control and make use of. That's the whole idea in a nutshell. I mean, think about the journey we just took.
We started with actual straps on a horse. Then that became an action, controlling the horse. Then it leaped into being a metaphor for controlling massive things like rivers and wind. And now it's a way we can talk about using any kind of power. And that, right there, is how we get from a horse all the way to solar power. That's the connection.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. What about you? What are your talents, your skills, your passions? What's that powerful potential you have inside you just waiting? What personal skill are you going to harness next?
We haven't been able to figure that out, but we have been able to harness it and use it off-world.
Most common are the borrowers, those who harness the power of a demon in order to practice the art.